somebody that has, say, maybe a different job or what have you, or inside job versus outside job? Is there any correlation between any of that at all that I just talked about?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm trying to think.
Sure.
In my practice, I would say I tend to see more women, so I am seeing more women with allergies, but I think the incidence in the population is pretty equal between women and men. In terms of job and exposure, maybe exacerbating allergy symptoms, I think whenever anyone is in a job where they're dealing with a lot of pollutants and things, chemical toxins, I've got some patients that are airplane mechanics, for instance, and they're always, being exposed to kind of dusts and fumes and things like that, and over time, that tends to place a huge burden on the liver.
Oh, okay, sure.
And the liver is working really hard to handle these chemicals, and sometimes the nutritional reserves in the liver become depleted, and the liver becomes a little bit stressed. And one of the jobs of the liver is to clear histamine out of the system. So when you are exposed to something you're allergic to, your body dumps out all this histamine, and if it sticks around, you're going to be feeling the symptoms much longer. But if your liver quickly clears it out of the body, the symptoms come and go. And you're not like suffering all day long.
Exactly.
So people that have some liver stress will often have worse allergies.
Now let me ask you a question. So do you recommend, say, something that's in an environment, say, that's more toxic? Would you recommend, say, that patient should maybe take something else to go ahead and combat these toxins that are in the air versus somebody that, that works in a job where there's no toxins in the air? Yes,
I'd say definitely that would be a great idea, because what happens is the liver has to take those toxins and they first change the toxins a little bit and then combine the toxins with a nutrient so that they can be eliminated from the body. And sometimes, if a person is chronically stressed with those toxins, the patient or the person will become deficient in the nutrients that the body needs to rid the toxins from the body.
Gotcha.
So it's very helpful to replenish these conjugating nutrients that the liver needs to handle toxins effectively. So if someone is in a job where they are experiencing toxic stress, you should put them on a liver supportive formula that's got the appropriate amino acids and minerals to protect the liver.
Interesting, because again, if you take a patient, say, like that, and they're just maybe taking prescription drugs and they're not getting any support for their liver, that seems to be a dead-end street. I mean, to me
it actually kind of makes the situation worse, because most drugs, not all, but most of them have to go through the liver to be eliminated from the body. So it's just yet another thing that the liver has to deal with.
Exactly. Now, as an example, we talk about stress a lot. I want to hit on stress just a little bit more.
We need to talk about that more.
That's a huge thing, stress. What can we do for a patient, say, that's under a tremendous amount of stress, as far as, can we get the adrenal glands functioning, try to get those functioning better? Would that be the first line of defense for, say, for you to do if somebody came into your particular practice, to deal with that first?
Yeah, well, I think almost every time someone comes in, I at least am looking for signs and symptoms of adrenal weakness, signs and symptoms of adrenal stress. You definitely want to work with the adrenals. But what you also want to do is counsel a person to get into some form of relaxation or meditation. If we can still our mind for a portion of every day, we're going to be able to handle the stresses as we're driving in traffic and we're trying to get through our day. So meditation practices can be very helpful for the adrenals, for the body as a whole. And then diet becomes very important, because like I said, one of the jobs of cortisol is to keep your blood sugar steady in between meals. And so you want to try to have a diet that keeps your blood sugar as stable as possible so the adrenals don't have to work so hard. So if you eat a diet that has some protein, and if you're going to do carbohydrates at all, make sure that they're whole grains and complex carbohydrate products instead of refined products like white bread and muffins and bagels and pasta, etc. you're going to have much steadier blood sugar during the day.
So in other words, give that body something, some substance
Yes.
to work on, instead of just giving it some, say, a carbohydrate, let's say like a white bread or something
Right.
like that, where it just kind of burns fast.
Exactly. You eat a piece of white bread, your blood sugar goes up really high, and then it comes right back down. You eat a piece of bread made from whole grains that your body has to work hard to digest and strip the fiber and the protein off of the grain. The sugar is going to be mediated into your blood sugar just gradually over a long period of time. So your blood sugar, instead of doing this, goes like this. And it stays steady for a long period of time. And so if the blood sugar is steady, your adrenal glands are not called upon to start pumping out all the cortisol to keep the blood sugar steady.
Exactly, makes a lot of sense. Well, it sounds to me then that a person's diet should be in pretty good order then, okay? I mean,
Yes.
if the diet isn't in order, they can go ahead and take whatever they're taking, and their body's toxic. I mean, let's just kind of synopsis this whole thing a little bit about these allergic reactions that people are getting. We really need, individually, they really need to take responsibility then, or get with a physician that will help them take some responsibility to go ahead and make sure that they are covered as far as they don't have the pollutants, as far as their body's not toxins, they're getting the right nutrition, and I mean, and they're not getting the stress, or
they're managing
their stress better, or what have you. Because otherwise, if they're not doing any of these things at all, then they're just kind of just like talking to the wind. Nothing's going to really work then.
And their body will be very prone to inflammatory states, pro-allergic.
Well, I sure like the way you go ahead and come at these problems and address these particular problems, and because otherwise I can see where people are not getting results. I mean, they're just taking one prescription drug or what have you, or whatever, and they're not addressing these other issues, so there's no way that they're able to go ahead and going to get their body back into balance at all.
And just like in any other type of symptom, an allergy symptom is a sign that something's out of balance, and we need to go digging and figure out what that is.
Well, Dr. McDougall, I'll tell you, it was sure a pleasure having you on the show, like always. And I mean, you've given us some valuable information out there. And I know for our viewing audience out there, if they want to find out a little bit more about their condition, you can get a hold of Dr. McDougall at the San Francisco Preventive Medical Group. And they're located on 345 West Portal Avenue, and that's in San Francisco. And Dr. McDougall's telephone number is 415-566-1000. And of course, if you need to get a hold of me, I'm in South San Francisco. My phone number is 650-225-9900. Amazing information you've given us today, just amazing. And I hope that our people out there that are having trouble with their allergies, I hope that they go ahead and, I encourage them actually to contact you to find out exactly what the underlying cause of their particular problem is. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that want to go ahead and address these, and they don't know where to go to address the particular problem. So again, I thank you for being on the show today, Dr. McDougall. It was really a pleasure having you here today. And for our viewers out there, again, as always, I wish you and your family the best of good health. And if you do have allergies, please, there's a place to go now. And again, thank you for joining us on the show today. We will see you soon. Thank you.